we're back. We're back. And wait, do you want to come over? Or should I just jump on with him?
Is he?
He's there.
All right, cool. Just jump in. Where is he?
Hi. Oh, there we go.
Hey, you guys. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Lulu. I thought we started off with a little dance party, right, Lulu?
Do not dance up there. Do not
I want
dance
to
up
dance
there.
up here.
Yeah. There we go.
How to dance up there.
How you guys doing? Hey, Barry. Hey, Lulu.
Doing all right, man. It's been a while since we did the cocktail hour, so
It has been a while.
I figure we should get it together.
What are you gonna make?
Well, somebody already had a drink.
Well, I just did a thing, a Q&A where we had mezcal Negronis.
Oh yes. Yes.
Martinis. Yeah.
What are you gonna make?
Just some good gin martinis. Just real simple.
Wait, but Colman, you've got a bar, and we were just having this debate.
Yes.
Well, you have
No.
like a bar.
You are a small business owner, which is one of the things.
Oh yeah.
One of the things you want to talk to you about today.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me turn this Charlie Mingus down. Hold on a second. Hey Google, turn down 20%. It's loud. It's loud right now.
Wait, pause. Did you just Alexa?
Google, yeah, Google. I don't touch anything. Look, it's all a clean house, safe house.
You
Don't touch
know,
anything.
I don't trust that shit. So we got Sonos, but we don't do the Alexa or the Siri thing.
Yeah.
I feel like everything's listening already. I feel like everybody knows exactly where we are. I'm like, just take it all.
That's how I feel. Wait, so here's the question. This is a very, very, very important question.
Okay.
And, you're a pro because you own a bar.
I own a bar.
Martini.
Gin martini.
Gin martini.
Yeah.
Lemon twist.
With a lemon twist, shaken or stirred. And forget. Like, I'm not talking about like.
Don't make witness. You ask the question, let him answer.
You know what? They say with gin, I think it's like you don't want it to break down with too much water. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's I think two schools of thought. I mean, you can stir it. It's like a nice stir is good. I always like my martinis so cold because I feel like that's the best way to have it. So I feel like I think I might have. Because I was gonna do some gin. Hey, have you tried this Roku gin?
No, but is it Japanese?
Yeah.
We've been doing Nika.
Nika, yeah, perfect.
Nika coffee.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got hip to that at the airport in Japan, and I was like, what? They gave me a taste, and I was like, what is Nika coffee? I was like, oh my God. It's amazing. So I'm going to have this Roku gin. I think I'm going to have a gin. Yes!
These go back and forth.
Yeah, this is what we.
But my homegirl makes this one.
A
friend of mine makes this one.
Roku is amazing, so we got to get that Roku too.
It's really amazing. You know what? I like it shaken, so it's so cold because then it'll last longer. I mean, I feel it's just gonna be a really good drink. You can really sip it. I think that's what helps you sip it because it's nice and ice cold. You just gotta, you know.
Like,
is he doing it? But he's not showing us how he's doing it, huh? He's not gonna show us. It's a very private event. It's
not on the first one.
Oh, well, I'm gonna do a gin. I was going to do gin gimlet. I should have cleaned this. But I think I'm actually just going to do, I want an old fashioned tonight.
See, I like it shaken so hard that there's little tiny pieces of the ice chip floating on the top.
It's beautiful.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It's beautiful that way. It should be that cold. I think so. Well, because I think there's people who like it stirred, but I'm like, then it gets warm too quickly. You know?
Sure.
He's a stirrer, which I agree with him because on like Manhattans and stuff,
yes, on a Manhattan and I think on a Manhattan and like an old fashioned, you want to stir with one block of ice, you know.
Exactly. Because also those drinks, the flavor gets better as it gets a little warmer. It's like not too cold because then you don't get the sweetness and all that.
Exactly. And you guys use big cubes, right?
Oh, giant! Look, well, this one's melted, but.
That's a beautiful cube.
Yeah.
How many? Do you have one of these that does like 6, or is it separate?
It does 4 because they're so big.
Okay.
Also, the one that we got because it has a lid too, and because I've gotten a lot of the big ice cube trays and they melt too quickly. Like
really?
the
Yeah.
doesn't stay frozen, and for
Right.
some reason this brand of like cube tray, the cube is large. It's so large that it fills this entire glass.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. That's great. It looks so beautiful. Oh, that's right. You guys are just up there on the other side over there. It's so beautiful right now. It looks like.
Yeah.
We're both rocking. Yeah, the light is so good right now. This is the perfect time for a cocktail.
Yes, sir.
How have you guys been doing right now? I mean, you've been chilling. You've been good. People keep saying. I'll just preface it by saying people keep saying, "Oh, well, nobody's really doing anything. Everything's like chill." I'm like, I've been so busy.
Exactly.
How about you? And people want to keep inviting you to do things. Will you do this and this panel? I'm like, whoa, I'm exhausted, and I can't be on Zoom 8 hours a day. My God.
The thing is, because everybody's at home, everybody knows everybody's at home, and so it seems like everybody's available or
Right.
so I get it. And you do still want to stay engaged with people, but yeah, it's tough, man.
It is it is tough. I just find I feel like my brain, my eyes are always, because like this is like fun, like this is chill and fun, but like focusing on a meeting, I feel like you can't look away from the meeting. You always have to keep your eyes there so they know you're interested, right?
It's too much, you know. I was running a writer's room, and we used to be in the writer's room for 8 hours. But you're like in a room hanging out, you order lunch, there's these kinds of stuff happening. Like an hour and a half in, and everybody's on different time zones too. So
Right.
So what about you, man? How are you? What you
love your shirt, by the way. Your shirt is just
it
making me
is.
so happy right now.
You know, that's exactly the point. I was like, anytime I'm going to Zoom with some friends or something, I'm going to wear like the most brightest, ridiculous shirt. I even ordered, because I'm crazy, I ordered a couple blow up costumes as well. I actually want to go down to my market wearing one because I feel like, just like.
Happy, I love that. That's great.
So I'm waiting for Amazon to deliver those. But yeah, anything that like brings a little joy, that's what I'm wearing right now. So I've been doing all right. I've really been like, the first month, I think for everybody, it was just like a whole reset. And then I got real frustrated. Like one day I was just losing my mind over the smallest things. I was like, okay, I'm just a little cabin fever and a little shaken up. And then, I just had to dial down how much information I was taking in, how much news, how much even like Facebook, because anytime I was on Facebook, it was just a litany of like, this person's sick, this person died, this person, you're like, whoa. So I give myself hours or some time to do it. Usually around like the end of the day. I don't do it in the beginning of the day because it'll mess up the whole day, But I'll get informed of what's going on, what's happening, reach out to people between like 5 and like say 8. And then I'm like, and you have to shut it down and I think that's part of self-care. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I try to stay up to date on all the numbers and everything, and she'll tell you. I try to listen to all the podcasts and whatnot. I don't know. I feel like I want to know what's happening, especially because what we know is evolving.
Yeah.
So I try to stay up on it, but it does make it it makes it hard to like, because I'm also we were shooting the Underground Railroad and we got through 112 days. That's a lot of footage, man. So we're cutting remotely. So I'm watching cuts, I'm writing this new thing, but I'm also trying to like stay right in the world, man. And you're right. Sometimes some days, like I'll be like, did I listen to the daily today? I don't think I did, and I'll realize I was really productive that day because I kind of like unplugged. But then I feel guilty for not staying aware of everything that's happening, because we got it real good right here, but there's a lot of folks that aren't as fortunate,
Right. And I think that's what I keep trying to find ways to like, how can I be, I've had some unfortunate losses. I had a friend of mine pass. He was only 47 years old. And he's actually the brother of Gregory Porter, the jazz singer.
Wow.
So he passed, a young guy. I've known him for years. And so I, doing things like, I will, help, look at the candlelight vigil that they're doing and make sure I post that and, help out, they had a young girl, college fund and stuff like that. So I feel like honestly, I've been so focused on like what I can actually do in the smaller things.
Yeah.
Because I feel like all that big stuff, I'm like listening to what's happening. So just for me, I just feel like all that stuff gets I get so overwhelmed that I can't do anything. And I feel like, okay, what can I actually do today? And even if it's like, I even noticed the other day when I make a point to like, there was a new woman working, wiping down carts at the market. And she was like, I'm so sorry it's taking so long. I said, no, thank you. I'm patient. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I know that I think it's important for all of us to like truly acknowledge the work that they're doing.
Yeah.
For our safety. And it's just like, I'm like, and so I was just like making sure I was really kind and asking her, how are you doing? You staying safe, whatever. And she said, thank you for asking. Thank you so much. It's like, yeah, these are the people out there on the front line that we never didn't even think of before, that it's necessary. And they're putting themselves in harm's way. And they're making sure, like, the idea that, like, and strangely enough, Barry and Lulu, I've almost gotten used to, it sounds strange, used to the pace that, like, oh, the lines are, you have to get up in the morning to go get some eggs if you need them, or if you have to get in, the line's going to be a little long in distance. But it feels much more mindful.
Yes.
Everything feels mindful now. It doesn't feel like, people, I love the fact, I feel no way about it when someone steps away from me now at the market. Maybe 6 months ago, I'd be like, oh, why are you stepping? But now I'm just like, oh, okay, great. And then I feel like everyone has come together. There was one dude at the market the other day who he was just running around, no mask, no gloves, no nothing. And I was like, excuse me, so to the manager, I was like, it is still a law to wear this in the market, right? He said, absolutely. And I just did like this. Somebody else looked and said, get him. So we're like, get him. Because I feel like it truly does feel like we're all in this together in some ways. Yeah. We can do the little things, to help us out, Yeah, cheers to you guys too, by the way. Cheers.
Oh, cheers, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I think that's an important question, though, that you mentioned self-care, because I have this conversation with one of my girlfriends all the time, and I was asking Barry about it, which is, how much information is too much information, and for who, and for, I think it's dependent on the individual, but I think, every person kind of knows their own capacity. Like, if that news, if that extra information makes you so depressed that you're not able to leave the house, you're not able to do the things that you need to do to be productive. When you do need to go to the house to go get groceries, you're really grouchy and you're not like being as kind as you could be to the people. It's not making you present in the moment. Then that's not, like, overall wise, that's not good.
I think you're right. I think it's not, because I think it's like you want to still. I think it is sort of an act of resilience and to have joy.
Yes.
We got to have that, so we know it. That's what we always talk about on this zombie show I'm on. Where we're like, well, what's the point of doing this? So anytime we're just in the mire of things for a long time, I'm like, whoa. Okay, we make sure we're writing why we're doing this, why we care. We have to have a moment of joy and laughter, of kicking back. And I'm like, otherwise, what's the point? So I feel like part of my.
Colman, somebody said the point is to eat zombie brains. Apparently, we like to read the comments as we're doing.
Wait, what did they say? Walkers? Oh, somebody. Okay, wait, there we go.
But you got
to remember that being afraid of
zombie fans in here, bro.
Oh, hey, if you're Walking Dead fans out there, huh?
I'm like, Colman also was in this movie called The Bill Street Guitar. I hope it's a boy. Hey, Colman, I wanted to ask you too. What's going on with the bar?
With the bar, right now, the bar has had to transform and become something else. Right now, we've been selling $4 lemonades. By the way, it's called The Wolves. It's in downtown LA, and it's at 519 South Spring Street. So stop by, help a small business stay open. Now that we had this woman come by who sells amazing tamales, and selling alcohol, adult lemonades for $4. So it's kind of like and selling alcohol as well. So selling really good high-end, beautiful bottles that they may not be able to get somewhere else, but also selling them at wholesale prices. Yeah. So I think everyone has to reinvent themselves.
I'm curious, is the city doing anything to help? I mean, you're like the first small business owner that I know personally I've been able to talk to. Like, I know Mayor Garcetti's been really strong, really strong, but are you feeling that at the bar?
I think the bar's feeling, I feel like it's feeling like everyone else is. I'm sure, I think Isaac, who runs operations in every way, was telling us that, I'm sure they apply for some loans, things like that to help employees, pay employees, things like that, and just keep the doors open in some way. But I do think it's like it has been the spirit of reinvention as well. And I've noticed that some restaurants have done that too, where they may sell a prepackaged meal that they can make themselves, but they got to figure out what to do in this moment. I feel like that's what we all have to do. We have to know that it is going to be different. It's going to be completely different, and we have to really adjust to it. And what was happening 2 months ago, it's like that's not the world we live in anymore. So I feel like we're all shifting.
2 months ago, 2 weeks ago, sometimes it feels like
right. It does feel. I mean, how do you guys feel about that in terms of like, especially like when it comes to the way you create and the way you're going to have to think about it as directors? That's what I want to know from you guys, because I know that there's great conversations like about how you're going to be able to create and tell story. With these.
It's interesting. We actually just got asked to do like a short film while we're in quarantine, and I'm like, I'm trying to edit Underground Railroad. Lulu's, still continuing the writers' room on her show with Nicole Kidman at Amazon. It's like we're working, and I've actually been kind of using it as a crutch. I'm like, I don't have to create anything. I have to manage the things I've already created. But even just being given the opportunity of trying to address a prompt, I'm like, it's hard to create right now. Because it's like you create things when you sort of like, I don't know, there's a space that needs to be filled. Right now, I'm overstuffed with things that I need to manage or be aware of or do. So then trying to extend myself to create something, I'm like, this is really difficult,
Yeah. How about you, Lulu?
Well, I've been creating a lot of things.
Yes.
I don't know how. It depends on what you consider productive. For example, wait, can I show off for a second?
Oh yeah, Lulu's been doing this.
I made this
she's
shirt.
the queen of tie-dye now.
What?
So Lulu made
So
this
Colman,
shirt.
I'll make you.
This
some
was a white
shirts.
shirt, but Lulu.
That's hot.
Yeah, she's just the queen of tie-dye.
Okay, Lulu, I'm totally gonna need one. That is hot.
Yeah.
We got matching.
But it's not like the tie-dye that I remember. It's not like, a Grateful Dead thing. It's like, you know what I mean? It's
No,
like,
this
deep
is
into it.
this is like, it's hard to see because of the light, but this is like a shibori. It's like a Japanese
yes.
kind of, and I'm doing monochromatic.
Real cool stuff, bro.
So you want to come out with a new line? Is that what Lulu, you're so genius. You're like, I'm going to come out with a clothing line on the other end of this,
It's no, but you know what it is that I've always had an interest in a lot of different things, and then when I got into film was my career. I mean, film was a hobby. I loved it, but it also became my career, and so maybe I'm trying to close that gap a little bit of just returning to like doing things that you love.
Yeah.
And even with the film going, I don't have these resources. I don't have a lot of people, but what can I make and how do I make something beautiful and that just feels good in the moment? That feels real and that feels like who I am. And so like cooking for me, for example, is one way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love like cocktails or creating meals is because I'm creating something for the person that I love. I love cooking for myself, but also like I love like trying new dishes to make for Barry. And I have a friend who just had a baby, and so I'm trying to like every other week or something like make something to deliver because they're doing meal train because her partner can't because they're taking care of the baby. And so like those things are like it feeds the soul,
Yeah. Instead of like, because I think that, you want to read a question?
I want to wish good luck to Cole. Cole, good luck with you, man, finishing your film production final. Hey, every time we talk to film school classes, we talk to Montclair State today, we tell our professors, they should give all the students an A, bro. Everybody should get an A.
Straight up.
It's too hard.
Yes, I was like, I had to actually I sort of gave the business early on to, because I was teaching this semester at Juilliard.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, they were like, oh, we're still being required to get off book for things. And I was like, wait, what? So I talked to the head and I was something's happening here. Oh, is that back? We're back. We're better. I was like, it was so crazy because I thought like, they were expecting them to just keep going because the university was like, keep going as if everything is normal. I'm like, no, it's not. And so I just told them, I said, you guys need to come together as you know, a student body and just say what you can actually do. I feel like if you can show up, if you can hit the Zoom button and get on with everybody else, you get an A.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Check out some of these questions in here.
Okay.
Tips for mental health.
Yeah, tips for mental health for an artist. With the smart.
Hello, hold on a second. Wi-Fi is doing something weird. 1 second.
It's because you're down there in the boom boom room, bro.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna move over here. Here we go. It's a bit a lot better.
How do I read the whole thing?
Oh, what happened? What did I just do?
Well, Lulu's trying to read one of the questions.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay, I was like, what's happening? Okay.
Wait, but why? How come?
I lost Lulu for some reason.
Yeah.
Was that me or you? Let's see.
You broke it, Lulu.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Oh, wait, it says, wait. Stop sharing video with viewers and leave Lulu. No, I'm gonna do, hey, that's you. There we go. Okay, get over here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move around for a minute. Hold on a second. I gotta change. I mean, sit somewhere comfortable. Okay, there we go. That's where.
We're back.
Is that better?
Yes.
So what was the question? Let's see.
Oh, mental health for I think you know, whenever we do these young artists tune in and we try to answer questions. One of the young artists is asking if we have any tips for maintaining mental health for young artists during this time.
To be honest, I think as an older artist, the thing that I've been doing is I've really just you have to take time. I think this is that precious time where you have to stop and actually just look within, whether you meditate, whether you go for walks, whether you go for a run. You feed your body, you feed your mind, you feed your soul. And I feel like even like the idea, I have like art books all over, like photography books, you name it. And I'll just pick up something or go online, read about something new, just store up. And I feel like also Mother Nature. I have been out gardening, and you can garden in the garden, you can get some pots, you can do it with whatever you want, put it in a little box or something. It's not expensive. You can get plants for $1. Tilling the soil, putting soil between your fingers, caring for something has been the most nurturing thing. I have been in my garden every day, to be honest. All I do is go to Lowe's or Home Depot, or we'll go out to the nursery. I bought some bougainvilleas out here. I bought some cactus. I got my California poppies that have come up, and you know, I'm just planting because I realized, honestly, young artist, I realized that I knew that it's something I can actually do that can get a result.
Yeah.
It's like I have no control over everything else and what's happening right now, but you can go outside or go to your windowsill every day and see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
And contribute to Mother Nature, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of what Barry said too. Like we did a Q&A one time, and Barry said that like think about a year from now. A year from now, you're gonna wish that you had started, right? Because if you had started, then a year like later you would have something. And I think a great analogy is gardening is planting.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you plant the seed, then you're going to have the thing. And sometimes it takes, like, there's certain plants, I look at it and I'm like, oh man, this thing is going to take like 2 weeks just to get the seed out. And then I have to transport it to the garden.
That one's already growing out there.
Well, that one's easy. So I'm very new to gardening. I might have to get some advice from you, but like I'm doing herbs and I just threw the herbs in the existing ground, but I want to grow vegetables. And with vegetables, you want to like really
raised bed. Yeah.
We're not going to do raised bed because we're moving soon, but we're going to get grow bags.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of grow bags. But you know, you got to put the seed in the little to get the seedling, and then you transport it into the grow bag, and it takes time. Yeah. But the sooner you start, the sooner it's going to grow. Like everything's going to take time, and that's that much more rewarding, you know?
Yeah, it's good. Well, and we definitely have time right now, which is the thing. You know, somebody was asking about community.
Exactly.
Well, somebody was asking about community in the little scroll there, and I think what you were saying earlier, Colman, about being at the people. I think community now has become the places that we allow ourselves to safely traverse, and so you know,
Yeah.
Lulu bought all these really lovely ornate envelopes. She had them sent here because, you know, the people who are seeing the most right now are the mailman, the UPS man, the Instacart man or woman, the
Right.
or a Postmate man or woman.
Yeah.
So now we just started where because we can't leave the house, we just put a few 20s in an envelope.
No, but
and
this
every
is.
now and then we just they hand me something, I hand them
But,
something.
but this is how it
all,
starts.
and all it says simply is thank you. And then the UPS
No, it
dude,
doesn't say thank
and then the UPS dude gave me his cell phone number.
But
He's like, oh man, you know, just in case, you know, if you know, if you expected something, I might not be on the route, blah blah. And so now
he's like, I got you. Okay, he's like, I got you.
So like,
because I gave him this envelope, like, hey, thank you for getting me.
I know, but this is.
Now I got.
But this is how it started, and Barry is incredibly generous. He was just handing people cash, like he was like, I got.
You know, Barry, I'm going to come by. I'm going to be wearing a UPS suit since you're giving out money.
Bring some of them barrel age, bro. Bring some of them barrel
He's
age.
just like, this is how you give back. This is what you do. Is that like, you know, you just tip more than you normally would because you can. And so this is always his thing. And I said, all right, well, but like instead of just handing cash, let's keep it classy. Do red envelopes because you know in Chinese culture.
Oh yeah.
Red envelopes is what you hand out for Chinese New Year. Like family put cash in it, and it's what I would get from my family and stuff. So I ordered a bunch of them, and they have little mice on because it's the year of the rat. It's the year of the mouse.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So all the envelopes have mice on them, and you know everybody, the gardener, the UPS man is probably like, why do I have this red envelope with a mouse on it? That's how we're
Now,
doing
Lulu,
it.
I have a question for you about that, about the year of the rat. How does that play with like what's happening right now? What does the year of the rat symbolize?
I'm not sure actually. I have to.
I want to find out.
I gotta. I mean, I can consult my Chinese astrologist Google.
Let's do that because I'm curious because I'm always just because I love like all that kind of stuff. I'm like,
Hey, Colman, what were you doing right before this? Were you in New York teaching at New York? Or were you teaching remote?
no, I was between. I'll tell you this. It's a.
Well, because you always do 8 things at one time.
That's exactly what was happening. I was actually almost between 4 cities in a way, but I was like in Austin shooting Fear the Walking Dead, and then I flew back home, and then I had to fly to Chicago. We were doing some additional photography on Candyman, and then that was the weekend when things were starting to shut down, and so I was like, are they going to shut it down? I don't know. And then I was supposed to go out to Toronto to do something else, you know, after the week after that. And everything just got like, so it was like, the last thing I did was Candyman. So we finished that. And then it was already getting like so eerie. The airports were empty and things like that. And it was just like Fear the Walking Dead. The oddest thing is doing a show about an apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you look around and it looks like things are happening in season 1. You're like, wait a minute, why is this my reality now? So we were in the middle of doing that. We just finished the first half of the season. We still have another half of the 8 episodes to go. So we're just like, and then we were also, I was supposed to start shooting Euphoria, like the day before we went on lockdown.
Oh yeah.
So I was in the middle of all of it, and like it was such a tricky puzzle of every little thing, and suddenly all of a sudden I called my assistant in Texas. I was like, everything's off. I said, just take everything off the calendar. We'll see what happens.
You here, right?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here in LA. Yeah.
All right.
Wait.
Where's my shirt from? It's from Versace.
Hey.
Yeah, that's why it's so loud. Italian.
Okay, before we go to the next question, I'm going to just read a little thing about what the year of the rat means.
Yes.
It's actually very interesting. Associated with the hour before and after midnight, the rat typically represents new beginnings. They are powerful symbols of fertility, wealth, and plenty. So people born in the year of the rat are considered to be optimistic, easygoing, and kind, if a bit too direct. That might be like people who are the rat, but that's.
But the idea of like new beginnings sounds right, because I feel like what we're doing right now, it's like everyone has to shift. And you're like, oh, it's a new beginning, straight up.
I agree, bro. And there's this question that we get a lot when we do this, which is advice for young filmmakers coming out of this thing. And I honestly think the industry was shrinking. big movies, big crews. When we come out of this, it's going to go the opposite direction. Small movies because they can be made by small crews. So if you're a young filmmaker, bro, this reset for you, I mean, it's kind of crass to say, but this is your moment to get into that slipstream because come out of the other side of this, it's going to be movies like If Bill Street Could Talk, Moonlight, The Farewell, like Zola. It's going to be like, do you have a story to tell? Can you tell it in 25 days with a crew of 17 people? Because we can take those folks, isolate them, go ahead and make this thing. So I think that there's going to be the films that are the last to come back online are going to be the films with 400-person crews made in 400 days, you know?
Yeah.
So I think, it's going to be an interesting time for young filmmakers.
Right.
And here, Newsweek says that the Chinese zodiac can be interpreted in a number of ways, but one prediction is that 2020 will be a year of renewal. And this came out in January. And a chance to turn unfortunate events into fortunate ones.
Whoa, that's exactly what I needed to hear. I was like, I knew there has to be something with that, you know?
Now, I think we got to say,
crazy.
And I think all three of us would endorse this.
That's January. That's when it was published.
It is unfortunate that we've been made, and not only us, but especially people, essential workers and the healthcare workers on the front line, have been made to go through unnecessary hell to get to that point. But I think we can only control what we control. And as
but don't you think as well? I mean, I think I don't know, somehow me and some students got into some real philosophical conversation, and we were talking about how, like, I'm like, yeah, kingdoms, these are times when things need to fall. There's a lot of sacrifice, and there's a lot of martyrs and things like that. Really, it's like when the world was moving in a way that it couldn't sustain itself. It just wasn't possible. Yeah. So some villain came in, doper than anybody, who's invisible, and was like, I'm gonna take you all out. And so everybody, all the little people had to come down and bond together, and they're fighting, and they're trying to fight for themselves and humanity. And then they finally realize, hopefully they realize that it's us against that thing. Yeah. And so we all have to take care of each other. And I think that's what we're wrestling with. And I mean that doctor, man, I forget his name, but that first doctor in Wuhan who tried to tell folks, and you know, he got blasted. I think they even put him in jail, or at least they interrogated him.
And then he died.
Then he ended up dying of COVID. It's like, I mean, it's fucking crazy, bro.
This shit is biblical. That's what it is, to be honest. It's like, you know, it's no joke, and the fact that some people take it as a joke. Yeah. And I'm like, how can you take it a joke when you see there's freezers on the streets of Manhattan with dead bodies in it and mass graves? Yeah. It's like, how can that be a joke? How can that be someone trying to take your liberties? You know, and I feel like I want people to have their rights, but you know, when it comes to rights for all, let's all do something together. That's it. You know, and it's like, and my biggest, I'm like, it's a mask. Just put the mask on. Yeah. You know what I mean? We got so many masks here. I'll give Lulu and her mom credit. Her mom was way ahead of this. Her mom told her to buy this UV machine. So we got a UV machine in the back. We throw all the masks in it after we use them.
It's a UV light.
Wait. So your mom was already on. She was like, look. This was like 2 years ago. She was like, look, Lulu, get you one of these.
4 months ago.
4 months ago, and when we went to China last year, 2019, last year, we went to China. My mom the whole time was like, wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. Yeah. But there's something, and I'm starting to recognize it, where I think like our American individuality, independence, freedom, it crosses over into arrogance and ego, you know, because we were like, fuck that, we're not gonna wear masks, and we're literally in a city where there's all this smog and stuff.
But I will say, you wipe down everything though. You always been that way.
I mean, I would wipe stuff down on a plane.
Who's that person who
Naomi Campbell style, because I saw the Naomi Campbell video.
Way pre-COVID, we would get on a plane and I would get shamed. You ain't gonna wipe that down?
Yeah.
What down for it? But then now I'm like, yes, I am going down. And I'll be all that down. But hey, Liz Hannah's watching.
Hi, Liz Hannah.
Hey, Colman, you got to work with Liz Hannah someday. Liz Hannah.
Okay, hey, Liz Hannah, let's work together.
Liz Hannah is a G. Best. Amazing screenwriter and an awesome person.
Sweet. But like, I think that the scary thing is that you know
Hey,
what?
Vintage Black Glamour's on. How you doing? I'm sorry. There you go. Yeah, I just had to say it.
She said she wore masks when she lived in Seoul.
Yeah. Sally Richards and hey. Sally Whitfield. Hey.
But like the sense of collectivism, you know, in Asia is so much stronger.
Yes.
People are realizing you don't just wear masks to protect yourself. You're also protecting other people.
Well, yes. Well, isn't that a cultural thing of like just understanding? Like when that was the thing that moved me so much when I was in Tokyo, that I was like in this really large city. It was so quiet, and it was almost alarming. And then the fact that like I remember I was in a coffee house, and the sign blew down outside. And someone immediately went and picked it up. They didn't work at the place. Yeah. But I was talking to this guy I was hanging with, and he was like, oh, yeah, because it's part of our culture that sign is also your sign.
Yeah.
It's everyone's. It's everyone's responsibility. Mm-hmm. And I think finally the chickens have come home to roost, and it's our time to understand that we have to be conscious of each other, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and at the end of the day, like you just said, it's just a mask. China's like, you know, they said and all kinds of stuff. Like, this is just a mask. Like,
it's just a mask. This is not, you know, we're not putting you in a harness or anything like that. You know, it's wild. Is Barry making another cocktail? What's he doing?
I am. I'm making a Negroni now. Yeah.
You switched.
Gin. He's gonna stick to gin though. He's doing gin Negronis.
We got some steaks.
What were you drinking?
I was drinking an old fashioned.
Oh, okay.
With bullet rye.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your drink of choice?
That's kind of my go-to. Although I've been drinking a lot of gin lately. Not a lot. I sound like a lush. I've been experimenting with gin lately.
Hey, Colman, you can be honest. Everybody's drinking a little more these days.
Look, I'm telling you one thing. I had a couple friends who were telling me that they were on the Dirty 30 at the top of this. I was like, wait, what? I said, you're doing what? They're like, oh yeah, we're not drinking, we're not having sugar. And I'm like, you're not gonna make it. I was like, this is like, I was coming from Bev Mo, picking up my order. I'm like, oh no, you need something? I can get you. I got you. Because I'm telling you, this is not gonna work out well for you or your partner. But somehow they made it through. I was like, I'm not even gonna call you because I feel like it's gonna be like real tense. I know in this house, it's good that we have, you know, some beverages, we may have some gummies around here, we may have some, you know, anything to get through the day. You listen. Yeah. We're trying to stay together, you know?
That's the way. I mean, that's the way, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Make them old-fashioned with Basil Hayden. Hey, Reggie on the move.
Wait, Cole.
I love Basil Hayden.
So Lulu and I did not live together before this quarantine started. and now we're in the last 2 months every single second of the day together.
So here's the story. Here's the thing. We were gonna move in together this summer.
Mm-hmm.
His lease is running out, and we were gonna like potentially buy or rent a house together to move in. And then this all happened, and my CPA was like, maybe you don't want to buy something with somebody that you haven't lived with before because
you never know.
Because you know, real estate wise, like the thing is, live there 7 to 10 years if you're gonna before you sell it. Otherwise, you're gonna lose money. Like if you live there less than 3 years, you're gonna lose money. And if you haven't lived with this person before, you might not last 7 to 10 years. And financially, it's just like not a good idea.
I love that your CPA was like, okay, listen. It was also like doing counseling as well. It was like, let's think about this.
What?
This 2 month quarantine has been like 3 years. 3 good years.
Yeah, you talk, Colman.
What'd you say?
No, you go. He's not saying anything.
You know what? Oh, I was gonna say, I was telling you that what we have done in this house with Raul, which is why you don't see him right now. He's painting right now. We usually give each other a good 5 hours off during the day. That means sometimes we're like, I'll see you at dinner, and you don't know where the person goes. But I feel like that keeps you healthy because otherwise, you got to like, I don't know, you got to take it easy and like, oh, okay, you're feeling this. You've been taken in the news. I'm gonna go for a run.
We're house hunting, and the biggest thing when we go into a house, which we couldn't before, finally in the last few days. You know, we put on the mask, put on the gloves, put on the booties, sanitizer, and some houses we can actually go look at. We're trying to figure out if I'm writing and you're writing, and we need to not see each other, will this house work? And there's some
And
lovely
not
houses.
hear each other either,
And
you
not
know,
hear each
because he
other,
likes to
exactly.
scream
Yes.
when he's
Yes.
writing or editing or watching things, like screaming at the screen.
My office is that end of the house. His studio is that end of the house.
See, that's great, but we moved into a house that wasn't, you know, we weren't prepared for that, so
Yeah.
I basically took over his office.
Exactly, and I'm in the dark ass guest bedroom that I am somehow I have squeezed in a desk.
Lulu, I want to know, Lulu, how did you do it? Was it gradual, or were you just like marking territory?
I volunteered.
Because
Not
guess
only
who
I
cooks,
volunteered,
Coleman? Guess who
See,
cooks?
you got to give the cook her space. Yeah, that's right.
but I clean the kitchen every morning, every night. Do I clean the kitchen every morning, every night?
Yes.
Wait, so you're the one who cleans and you're the one who cooks, all right?
And I make the coffee. And I buy the wine.
He used to be cocktail bitch, but then I
Okay.
Oh, this is our friend, but then we got 95 other people who we don't know.
That's fine. That's fine. My people are good people. They'll love
okay,
it.
I take it back. He's just coffee bitch. We make cocktails.
Coffee bitch. Used to be cocktail bitch. Okay, so wait a minute. So who wakes up earlier? You or Barry?
Me, for sure. Yeah.
So because you wake up and you make the coffee, yeah. Because I'm the one who wakes up early. I go make the coffee, get the lemon water out, and then like.
That's it. It's funny, right, Angel? I'm also quoting somebody. All right.
Wait, what are people saying? On blast. Okay. There's some language down. Oh, that's Spanish. Okay. How you guys doing? I had one cocktail and I'm a little lit. Just a little.
It's because, man, it's been a long. This has been a long week. You ever wake up on Tuesday and then at 3 p.m. it's Friday? I feel like the week is just like
It's one long day.
Exactly. I can't figure out how to manage. You know, and I'm getting work done, not as much as I want to, of course. But I'm like, what is going on with these weeks, bro?
Now I want to ask you something. What time? Okay, this is going to sound real personal, y'all. Okay, because I know what time I do it. What time do you shower?
It varies, man. Usually either really late or in midday.
I've been going at like 8 o'clock when I realized, oh wow, I have at night where I'm like, I haven't showered today.
But because the entertainment room, which is also her office, is right next to the good shower. So what we'll do is here's how it works. We will have the day, like right now after this, she gonna grill and I'll open a bottle of wine. Then we go to the entertainment room, we sit down, we eat. After we'll watch a little something. And then I always have this debate with her, like, shit, should I do the dishes now or should I do them in the morning? No.
It's gotta be at night. It's gotta be at night.
Exactly. So I come in, do dishes, she take a shower, then I go back, I take a shower, then we get back.
He's not being totally honest because I don't.
That's why I say either at late at night or anytime the next day.
No, this is when I shower. I should shower. When was the last?
I usually shower when I'm like, ooh, Raul, is that me or you? Okay, I should go shower.
Vintage Black Glamour, and Eric Anderson can attest to this. There's 2 showers in his house. We rent his house. The view is amazing. One of those showers is not good. The other one, because of the rental, I called a plumber. I said, bruh, you got to fix this. And so we got the pressure right, and we got a little, what do you call it?
Hey, Andre.
Shower.
And a
Keep
rain
out one of
shower.
those little rain.
So there is a good shower, and there is a not good shower.
But Coleman, we gotta like get a little intimate because I want to talk to you. We also now have the better toilet in one of the bathrooms. Because the one thing that I miss leaving my house, my mom has it in on every single toilet in her house, and I have it in my little Santa Monica apartment.
Oh, the
bidet, the Japanese bidet. I do this like Rondell, whatever. They're like really inexpensive.
Yeah.
They have so much toilet paper. The seat is heated.
But how do you put it? Did you get somebody to come and put it on? We have one.
Very. Okay, no, we're not.
We have one, and I'm scared to put it on.
I installed it.
You did?
I may have flooded the bathroom.
See, I don't want to do that.
Just for a little while,
Yes.
but then I fixed it, and it was fine. And now
Because they say it's easy, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
it's pretty
It's
easy.
a toilet.
You know what? You need a wrench. That's all you
It was
need.
easy until Barry!
Oh shit! What's
Literally. Oh shit! Right? Exactly right. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah, you're right. So there's always there's the good toilet. So yeah, you want to like, I love it. Warms your butt and all that stuff.
It's nice, bro. It's nice.
Very
It's
nice.
the Cadillac of toilets.
And I think it's much more eco-friendly too. You know, in a time that's where it's very difficult to find toilet paper, nice toilet paper right now, like all the toilet paper sold out everywhere. It's a good thing to have, and generally,
Yeah.
you know.
I love it. You were chilling. You were like, go ahead, take the toilet paper. I'm good. I'm good.
Got a little fan, but you've got to like, you still need toilet paper just to like. But it's not,
Next question. Next question.
all right. Let's take some questions over here.
That's a perfect segue. Hey, Awards Watch.
Your vertical horizontal story.
What's happening?
This guy's putting the same question over and over again. You want to tell Andre your vertical horizontal story?
All right, Andre, who's asked the same question 10,000 times. And our questions.
But we appreciate the hustle.
Appreciate the hustle.
But she has an answer for you.
But I just did a thing for film school, and where they were saying, what advice do you have? What do you wish that you knew? And the advice is you've got to hustle horizontally, not vertically, meaning you've got to network with the people around you. Look around you and go, who's talented, who's coming up like I am that I want to bring with me. You know, as opposed to saying, oh, I'm going to get that person or that person or that person who's several years ahead of you to read your script, to then produce your script, because that puts you in a place of like asking and desperation, as opposed to creating the team that you come up with together.
And I'm going to tag in because for that same class, someone had asked me earlier, oh, what was your first job out of film school? I was like, oh, actually, I was a director's assistant on this movie starring Halle Berry, produced by Oprah Winfrey. It was Their Eyes Were Watching God.
Oh, my God.
But then at the end, like, but 16 years later, when I was on the stage at the Dolby Theater accepting my Oscar, the people who were on stage with me were not those folks who I met in Hollywood, my first job out of school. It was all the kids I'd gone to film school with. Adela, James, Mark, Joy, Nat, Andrew. And those are the people who I would have been networking with horizontally, not vertically. And so my man who keep asking that question, I mean, me reading your pilot, I mean, maybe I'll give you notes or feedback or whatnot. I'm hella busy, so I don't know if I have the time. But, you know, nobody who I would have asked to read that pilot 16 years ago is still here with me. You know, it's all the kids who came up with me. So you gotta hustle horizontally, not vertically. Says the boss, and that's true.
There's a young brother who's I know named Andre Ozim out there. He's a wonderful guy. I want to give him a shout out, Andre.
If you vouch for him and you got something,
Andre.
man. I mean, hey, if Colman ain't ready, why I'm gonna read it, man?
There you go. Exactly. Andre Ozim. He's a young brother he's become like a little brother to me. He's been, you know, writing and acting. He's good. He looks just like me. He looks like the better version of me when I was younger.
But my whole thing is I'm moving too slow right now. I'm moving too slow. Everything I do right now is slow. It's slow. You want to link up with people who want to move fast
and who are hungry.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I wish Barry and I talk about this. Like, are we a little too comfortable? Are we a little too like we take our time? Because you know, one of us has a gold statuette in the other room. The others of us are, you know.
The other one should have had it too. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, I know where I cast my vote.
But Coleman, that's kind of cool though. But back there's two Independent Spirit Awards. You know.
There we go. Exactly.
One for Best Picture. Hey, one of those star you, bro.
Yeah, there we go. Woo!
You know,
Yes.
It's funny because the trophy case or whatever is next to her desk. And so I sometimes forget that all that shit is back there. And then we'll be walking through to get to the backyard. I'll look over. I'll be like, oh, shit. All that stuff is back there, you know?
And you know what?
But you know what's good, though? What I love about that, because I remember you guys were in the same place up on that I came to, right?
Yeah. That's right. You came to the
housewarming.
Yeah.
Well, what I love about that, there is, how can I say this? What I love where they were placed is, and I'm going to link this to Donna Summer. Okay, I know that's a weird thing, but I'm going to link exactly this story to Donna Summer. When you went to Donna Summer's house, apparently, like her kids for a long time didn't know. They knew their mother was a performer, but they didn't know their mother was Donna Summer.
Yeah.
Because she never had anything in the house. It was really a representation of her family and things like that. And she would put things, other places in her office and things like that. And I love when I went to your house as well, that like, it's a very subtle place, because I feel like what I gleaned from it was that you're focused on your work and your craftspeople, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's a wonderful honor, but you're like, now I got to go do something else. I got to go do this thing, right? So that has its place, but it wasn't like, well, seriously, and I'll just tell you, because I've been to their house, it wasn't like, what some people are like, oh, I would have that in the middle of the room with a light on it and blah, blah, blah.
My favorite story. So Mahershala used to live in Venice, actually near Lulu, because Lulu has a place out in Santa Monica. And I went to, was it Jelena or Justa? Place?
Yeah.
So after Moonlight and before Beale Street, I just went just to go hang out with Mahershala. He just had his kid. They had this little place in Venice. So we go to Justa, and then I walk to Mahershala's house, right? And I walk in the door, little chill bungalow. I'm walking through this house, and I see a few trophies, a few things in that, and I'm like, oh shit, Mahershala's Oscar should be somewhere, And I feel connected to that thing, We did this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm walking around, we're not just hanging out. I'm not gonna ask him because it's Mahershala. I'm not gonna ask
You're
him.
like, where's the right.
But I'm looking for it, and I don't fucking see it. And then finally, I go to the kitchen to pour a glass of water, and the bungalow had a low ceiling in the kitchen, and I look up, and on top of the fridge, way in the back, and all the other awards, like the NAACP Image Award, like all these other awards are out prominently. That one, it's like on top of the fridge, way in the back. You won't see it unless you know where it's at. You're looking for it. And I'm like, you know what? I get that. And I
get it too, because I feel like you can't, you got to function on like what you're going to go towards. You can't, that can't be that's the end all be all. That's the thing. It's a wonderful honor, right? And like, I'm like, look, listen, they give it a out, I'll take it.
And Colman, you are a talented ass man, and statue this, statue that. But when I see you work, and I got to work with you, bro. And there's some things we didn't even end up in a damn film, but I got to work with you. And so I know, shit, I walk off set some days and I'm like, okay, that's a statue. You know what I mean? It is, but it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think I want to live in that place. And I think Mahershala wants to live in that place too. That's why you go.
But I think that's what any true artist wants. That you want to live in that place. You're like, I know, like even in my office, so like I put there's some awards in a little case right there because that's what Raul wanted. For me, they were like. They were in the back, they were in the bottom, they were hidden because I don't know why it feels embarrassing, but like I don't want people to come in and think, oh, there's a shrine to your ego. I'm like, no, I'm like, they're like, well, you got to put up you nominate for this, you won that. I'm like, no, but I want to think of like the next things I'm doing. I want to feel like I'm still just starting out in a way. I want to feel like, you want to feel respected. You've been doing this for a while, but you want to feel like a little scrappy. And you feel like, so you can make a mistake.
Exactly, and I think I have two different things to say. One is that like my home, I always want to live in a place that's for me and not for presentation. It's not, I'm creating it. Like there's this joke where it's like you only paint if you can't afford it, because my family, when we immigrated, was like, you just paint the front wall, you don't paint the back walls. And if you travel to a lot of countries, that's what you do, because that's the front wall is what people see of the house, right? But then you walk around the sides and the back, it's all like undone. And I don't want to live in a place that's just for other people. Like, so my awards, all that does is like give you anxiety of like, can I match up?
Can I do that again? Can I achieve that?
Exactly.
What are they going to think?
Exactly.
Because you couldn't make, I think you guys couldn't make the films that you make by thinking about that, because I feel like they're so singular and I feel like they have your voices and they're so like, it feels scrappy. You're like, I'm going to create the thing, the story, this interesting.
No, correction, they have your voice.
Boy.
You know what, Barry?
I hope it's a boy.
Colman, you know what? Barry said that to somebody who said that they were pregnant recently. And he goes, I hope it's a boy. And I was like,
and their face was just like, what did you just say?
What?
No, he's quoting from his own movie. He's not. Hi, girls.
No. I'm not quoting my movie. I'm quoting Colman Domingo.
That is the most quotable thing back at me. That's what people. I will go to any room in Hollywood and somebody would just look out and say, "I hope it's a boy," and I'm like, "What?" Because I forget about it. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like,
Wait, can I tell one more story though? One more
Sure.
story about the Oscar, because he told the one about Mahershala, which is that one of the, I think it was like second or third date that Barry and I had gone on, and I went to his apartment. He was in downtown at the time, in a loft.
Yeah.
And you date people in Hollywood, especially men, and they're like, the woman, you fear that their ego and he's got an Oscar and whatever, and so you're just like a little, hesitant. I go to his house, and I walk past. It's beautiful. It's he has all his art and everything, but I walk past like this pile on the floor, and all of his awards, are in like a shoebox or like on the floor, like in like
What?
and I'm like
in a box.
in a box though, but like not like up on a, just literally all of them. I was like, is this your Oscar?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, I haven't found a place to put it. I haven't figured it out.
Right, because I'm sure you didn't have the place built. You're like, oh, this is where my awards will go. You're like, I'll figure this out.
I'll be honest. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that because it wasn't about that, and then it happened, and so that was after the fact. It wasn't a part of the film. It's separate. From
Now, how do you guys? Now, I have a question for you. How do you guys, as filmmakers, make sure that you feel like, okay, I did this thing, it got this prestige, it got this notice. How can I create the thing? Is it easy for you to sort of shut that off and just say, okay, now I need to do the thing? Don't look at me for that. Look at me for that to give me some money to do what I need to do.
Right.
But, right. But do you think, has it given you more agency in the way that you tell stories? People trust you more? Like, okay, this is what it is, so don't note me to death. I want to tell the story.
Trust you more, but that's even more scary.
That's worse, yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, I get it. Right.
Some people you can trust to give you good feedback, but for me, it does give you a charge because I think the only way I can stay balanced is I need a blank sheet.
Yeah.
I need a blank sheet to remind me to be humble. I don't know shit. These characters are new. I know just as little about them as I knew about Little when I started that process. So let me go down this path the same way I went down that path. To me, it's the best reminder is to keep working, it's why I watch a lot of short films, man. I just want to stay fresh. But I watch her. She's doing so much shit right now.
No, but I mean, but it's like,
Lulu, you're a beast. You're a beast. You're wonderful. No, really.
I live with this one now, so I think that there's a certain level of pressure because I do admire his work and his work ethic so much, but it happened to me recently where I came onto this Amazon show with Nicole Kidman, and they brought the series to me, and I was like, first of all, learning to say no to things that might not be right to you is a new thing that I had to learn because all my life I've just been like trying to knock down doors. And then I said, I love the book, but the scripts are not where I would want them, so I'm going to pass. And then they dumped the entire year of development and said, you can start over. If you love the book, like you do what you want with it. And so that's an intense amount of pressure based on one that they saw. And I was like, I can do it again. How do I know that I did it once? How do I know I can do it again? And I worried that they were all being blinded by all of the buzz and all of the awards and everything else. And so, that's the only thing. Like, I found that the only way to combat imposter syndrome is to work really fucking hard. Yeah. And then also, when I do these things, I talk about putting my own toilet seat in or like whatever.
So they know the reality of it. Exactly. So what I love about that too, because it dispels this this way of being that makes it, I'm doing this show right now called Bottomless Brunch at Colman. So I have people over literally.
That, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You got to watch this next episode. It has Colman and Yahya Abdul-Mateen on Sunday. Sunday too. On AMC.com. AMC. So get this. But I thought the whole idea was like, I think the time.
Is that episode? Thirsttrap.com is that episode.
Thirsttrap.com. Exactly. I knew what I was doing. Exactly. I was like, oh no. You want to bring him in? I'm gonna bring him in. I'm gonna bring Colman and Yahya. It's a people who love the Colman, who love the Yahya. So get this. I just thought these are the times to bring people into your home to also dispel what it is like where you are. People are like, oh, is that your home? Is that your, like, yeah, that's a painting of mine. This is my home. This is where I am. And I think it's so important because I feel like we're now sort of creating, and I love that you guys are doing this. I think you're creating this space that brings audiences, fans, students, everybody into, hey, we're all together.
Sorry about that. My iPad died.
All right, John, we're back.
It's gonna make it harder to read the comments, unfortunately.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, that's fine.
But
I can read them. Maybe let's see. Maybe I can. Let's see.
yeah, you can screen the comments first. But anyways, yeah, the world. You know, I think that I don't know what attracts you to projects, Colman. Like what you're looking for. I don't know if you read everything. You have somebody who helps you read.
By the way, before you answer that question, I gotta say about Colman Domingo.
Say it.
Sing it. Hey, stay humble. Stay humble. Stay humble. Because I wanted to work with Colman. The bus was getting kind of full. And I said to Colman, or people said to Colman, will you just do this thing? And Colman was like, you know what? Fuck, I'll do that thing and I'll do this thing. When Colman did that thing, I was like, actually, do you mind doing this thing? And it that thing. You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember the thing.
Hey.
I do remember the thing.
And we ain't got to go into details.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? I respect that because what I could see was I'm gonna get on the stage or on the set with this dude, and we're gonna be able to play. We're gonna be able to play. I'll never, ever, ever stop thanking you for that, bro. Because it made me know, man. Honestly, we were hanging out with random ass friends, and I'm impersonating Colman Domingo. Called him adaptation.
Man, you know, I'm telling you, man.
Because I saw a very early cut of the film, and we had a bunch of people in. I mean, I'm not saying this just to kiss up or any. I mean, truth. Like we had a bunch of people in. We were giving notes about the edit and everything, and it was always like Colman's incredible. Like the it just elevated the whole movie, and yeah.
I hope it's the boy.
Thank you, you guys. First of all, I'm like, when I tell you, I thank you so much. I think, you know, let me tell you, I think I made, okay, I'll tell you, this is some real shit. I feel like an agreement many years ago, because I've been now doing this for 30 years, that I just really wanted to, I've had opportunities to like do things that like provide me more income, things like that. And I always said, no, I really wanted to really look back at hopefully some point in my career and say, I'm really proud of everything that I'm doing. That I want to be in a room with people who are inspiring, who would like to like, you know, move the dial on our humanity. I want to have some fun. And I truly mean this. I started my own production company, and the ethos, they told my development exec that I said, I want to work with people that I'm going to love. And that's straight up. It's like, you can be talented, but you can be a talented dick. You know, but I'm like, I want to know that we're going to have some food, that we're like I knew with you, I'm like, oh, we're going to actually like become brothers. We're going to eat together. We're going to have a good time.
I always think about that trip, that London Film Festival.
That was fantastic.
That was
great. That was good. But you know, I feel like, because I mean, like, I think, any of the young artists out there, I feel like you're going to get opportunities, and people are going to want to pull you in different directions. But you got to have in your center, like, what are you really about? And I feel like, to be honest, I feel like I've had a long road with some successes, with some financial stability, things like that, because I think I made the choices that were always artistic. And I don't come from money. I was like, I don't know how I could afford to make these choices, but I did. I was like, nah, you know what? I'm going to do this off-Broadway play, getting paid $300 a week, blah, 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 instead of keeping myself available for pilot season. I'm like, you know what? A series will have to find me. And so my agents were always just like, wait, what? I'm like, I'm going to do this project. And usually that project would build to something that it was supposed to be. Like, I would start with a show with the public, it would move to Broadway, blah, blah, blah. I get a Tony nomination, and career things happen because I chose the art. Yeah. And so I've always chose the art, and I think I will continue to do that, because I feel like, knock on wood, it's worked out for me. I want to work with good people, you know?
And you know what that reminds me of? I think it's two things. One is that it's self-care, because we started this whole conversation about self-care, you know?
Yeah.
And when you're always like doing the thing that your agents tell you or about money, or that is not self-care, and you're depleting your energy.
No.
And I remember Ava DuVernay said this thing. I saw her doing a director's close-up for Film Independent one time, and it was after she had made Middle of Nowhere before Selma. And he said that something psychological that changed for her was she recognized that she was wearing the cloak of desperation when she walked into a room.
Whoa.
And it stinks. The coat of desperation stinks, and you.
Oh, it does. But you smell it when it comes into a room, right?
Exactly, and it reeks. And so, how do you get? Because everybody can smell it when you walk in the room, and you're not going to get the thing that you want. And the more you want it, the more you're not going to get it, because you're just going to think even more. And so, part of self-care is to get yourself into a place where you are a little bit less desperate. And I'm not saying not at all, because there's always a bit of that, right? But part of the self-care process is to tame that. And so if you're doing something that makes you happy, if you're keeping your overhead down, you're living in a place, living a lifestyle that's not about being famous, about being fancy, about schmoozing, about traveling. When I was writing The Farewell, I had friends who were traveling. They were like, why don't you take that commercial so that you can go to Japan or go to Europe or go to wherever? And I was like, because I'm working on this script. And their answer was in a way, they didn't say this directly, was like, how do you know that this script is sorry.
Well, because you're putting your energy into something that you love, but they were like, is that really going to work out, right?
Exactly. And they were like, how is that ever, is it paying you? Not yet. Is anyone going to make that movie? Not yet. But right now, someone is offering you a commercial where you get $5,000 and you get to go to Europe. Should I take it? And so those are the choices that you're constantly having to make. And I do think that if you want to be a filmmaker, you have to understand that it takes sacrifice. It does take choosing to do the thing.
I'm glad you said that, because people don't know that that's exactly what it takes. It's like people think that like you really have to sacrifice. You have to say, you have to be a little hungry, be uncomfortable, not have health insurance sometimes. It's got to be a little dicey, but like you have to really believe in what you're doing and trust. Niecy Nash said this, and it always stuck to me. She said, whatever faith that you're in, if you believe in something, believe it the first time.
Yeah.
I'm like, so whenever it looks dire and dark or whatever, you still have to believe that what is meant for you is meant for you, and you got to keep going for it. So I've always believed that too. I feel like it's like you always have to, that a way will be made. It's like, I'm honestly, like, to be honest, like, look, I come from inner city West Philly, and the idea of having a house with a pool, and I got some good savings right now and stuff like that, and I feel like, you know what? But it took a lot of sacrifice. It took a lot of for a long period. And I always want people to know, when people like, when I have young cats being like, oh, I want your career. I'm like, you want my career? You want all of it? Because if you want all of it, I want you to look at the first 15, 16, 17 years before things started to really hit. And you know what I mean? So I want you to want that too. I want you to want to go to do a show in Indianapolis at a regional theater there, or go to Jiva Theater, or blah, blah, blah. My career started in the theater, and I was just doing work and working with people and building and this, that, and showing up. And then like eventually, people show up for you, and you're like, I like people that I've met, I feel like that are friends now, like Lee Daniels or David Oyelowo. I met them when I was doing a show on Broadway, and they would come backstage and we would talk, and we would go to dinners and things like that. And then it's building, like you're saying, you were talking about networking, it's building relationships. I'm like, oh, these are like-minded individuals. And I like to build relationships, whether or not they'll go somewhere. So I even go to these, now that we're all out here in LA and all, I go to these general meetings. I'm like, for me, I sit back in the chair. Yes, I'll have coffee. If they got a snack, I'll have it. Because for me, it's like, it's building a relationship. And it's like, and I'll ask people about their kids and things like that. I'm like, whether or not we work together, fine. I want to know that we're going to see each other somewhere, and we're going to like, we'll believe that person made me feel good, and we feel good, and like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of good things have happened in my career because people, they remembered that I was in service in some way,
Hey Coleman, we got this meal that we about to cook. So
you gonna eat?
Yeah, we go jump off.
Yeah, some of that food after all this liquor.
Hey, Jamala Johns had a real good comment up above, which was, but I really love my healthcare, and I think that
fuck healthcare. I didn't have
fuck that shit. You gotta step out on faith. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Barry. Barry. I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
won the Spirit Award, and then I got
Pause.
health insurance.
Pause. What I was gonna say was,
Don't listen to us.
we all have to make choices and sacrifices. Choices and sacrifices. However, I think that sacrifice is unnecessary, and so hopefully this November we will all vote.
Vote.
We will vote knowing
Vote.
that the idea of healthcare should not be the difference between following your dream or taking. And so hopefully we can
It
all.
should be a given.
It should be a given. It should
That's
be a
what's
given.
unfortunate in this country.
And Jamala, you know what I'm saying? You did it your way, and you made it through the other side. Not everybody can do that. You know, we did it our way. We made it through the other side. Everybody can do that. We recognize that. So hopefully, all of us that goes to the ballot box, and we will conduct ourselves in a way. We will vote in a certain way. That shouldn't be a choice you have to make, because I saw the post and you're right. Sometimes you got to make that choice, but you shouldn't damn have to. You should be able to make your art and know that if you get sick, you can go to the hospital. But we'll get there, man. I got faith. Ain't that right, King of Bingo?
That's right. It's truly right. And you know what I want to do? I just remembered I have a good friend who's watching this, who's been putting up some posts here. Barry and Lulu, would you mind wishing happy birthday to my friend Lisa B. Thompson?
Hey,
Lisa B.
Thompson.
We're gonna sing.
Lisa B. Thompson.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lisa B. Thompson.
We're all on different keys. I'm sorry.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
She's the dopest. And she's a professor at UT Austin. Get into her, y'all. That's her right
Hey,
there.
Coleman. Hey, I love you, bro.
I love you.
You stay safe, black man. All right.
You too, brother, sis.
Hey, tell Raul I said hey. All right.
I definitely will. I'm going to give him. He's probably done painting by now.
We should.
Yes. Let's get together.
Hey, because you got a pool, bro. You got a pool.
Hey.
Oh.
Hey,
I'm coming over on my bikini.
We
Good, Lulu. Come.
stay at the deep end. We will stay at the deep end.
No,
y'all
Barry-
get shallow. We'll
No,
stay at the deep
Barry will stay in the shallow end.
Like a little baby.
end. Hey, Smokes, I got a cocktail. I'm good to go.
Exactly. Love you guys.
Hey, and to the rest of y'all, much love. Stay safe. If you write. If you're not writing, don't feel any kind of way about it. Just love yourself and love your loved ones, and just try to be good to yourselves. All right.
Yeah.
Ditto
Take
on
care. Love you guys.
Hey, Coleman, I love you, bro.
Love you too, brother. Love you, sis. All right. See you guys. Bye.